Crump. I've been known as a lot of things over my life. The class clown, the army guy, the rocker guy, the car guy, and the guitar guy. I've also made a lot of mistakes in my life, but the best thing I ever did, that's give my heart and life to Jesus Christ. He led me down a lifelong path and introduced me to my awesome bride, Rockin' Robin, blessed us with 2 incredible kids, and has given me a hope through some of the absolute toughest times of my life. See, I'm battling stage 4 cancer, and although that sucks, it's opened my eyes and heart to a hope I never knew this way before, and moments I never noticed. I call those God's Got This moments, and they reveal hope like never before. Today, I'd like to welcome you to Hope Revealed.
Well, hello and welcome back to those of you who are tuning back in, or for those of you that are tuning in for the very first time, to Hope Revealed. I'm your host, Matt Crump, and I come to you every Tuesday, the best of my ability, with episodes about hope and health and healing. Sometimes we'll have guests that give us great information in the area of help with the world's health and healthcare, as well as to find hope through some of the information that's shared. As a person myself that's been battling stage 4 cancer for quite some time, I wanted to bring a platform to you that would specifically bring help as well as hope. Now, that can be done through our special guests, information I've been able to find and receive, just some of my study times myself, the things God speaks to my heart, and then other times it's things I get from you, our listeners. If you'd like to send something to me that is something that we could consider for a podcast or for our blog, I'd love for you to do that by just reaching out to us at community@godsgotthis.love. Again, that's community@godsgotthis.love for your questions, comments, and content. So on today's episode, we're going to talk about 3 little words that mean something different every time you say it. So without further ado, I'm going to go outside for a little bit. It's almost dark. And I'm going to share a few things with you, and then we'll come right back into the studio. See you in just a minute.
So over the past few weeks, days, months, I guess, I've been talking about things like time, relative and all the posts that I've been making, different videos and blogs that I've been talking about. It's all relative to the word time. Here's another time thing for you, 24/7, right? Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. Yet why does it seem sometimes that a day could drag on so long, and other times feels like it just flies by, right? Another thing that I've thought about recently is the 2 words, anything is possible. Okay, so that's 3 words. Anything is possible. That's a fantastic thing. To know that sometimes in our lives that anything's possible. It's a great scripture. With God, all things are possible, right? Yet with time, thought processes of what's happening in our lives, that other 3-word phrase, anything is possible, could really be a scary thing.
Quick break for those listening to ask you to stop by our Facebook group page and join today. I love this old car. I spent a lot of time working on it. It spent a lot of time in a field in Texas for like 40 years. Just sat, rotting away. Just amazing to think about the times that were spent in this vehicle. Stories that could be told of the conversations that occurred in this vehicle that's 81 years old. I love to be a part of something like that, to experience time in such a unique way, to be able to touch it and to feel like you're a part of something much bigger than yourself. Anything's possible. Sandhills Music. I had this store in our community for about 10 years. And I went from a little tiny store in the back streets of a small downtown area to having one of the largest music stores in our community near our mall. It was in the largest shopping district of our community. I don't say that to be boastful. I was excited. I was happy. I was proud. It was my dream. The last store that I had, the last facility, was just about everything I had dreamed of. It was the style, the look, the layout. It was just about perfect. When I was there, looking around. I'd come in on mornings and just observe, be alone with me and the Lord, and I would think, wow, anything's possible. You know as well as I do that sometimes things they're just funny the way they work out, right? Like my wife and I, we're really, really blessed that what's behind me in this yard, it's ours, it's our home, it's where we live. I'm very happy to be here, and it's been a joy. We've been here for, goodness, I don't know, maybe almost 11 years in this house now, and a few things, over a period of time when the house gets a little older, you need to do some things, and we were in a need of a new roof. Well, it's not cheap. It's a big roof. So we were kind of just waiting around and figuring out what we would do and save some money to be able to get a new roof. And then we had a hurricane and some really bad rainstorms. In the midst of those periods of time, we incurred some pretty bad damage to our roof. The tree went through the back here of my shop, and it was pretty rough. Caused some damage inside. It wasn't pleasant. But through it all, with the insurance claim, we got a brand new roof. We didn't even have to pay for it after we had been saving up for that to get a new roof, because the roof was so damaged it had to be replaced anyway. It's amazing, right? You know what I'm about to say. Anything's possible.
For those of you that know me, have been following me anytime recently, well, of course, this is recorded, so this is March 2019. You know that recently I had a pretty devastating situation happen in my life where my goddaughter, Kaylin, who was my nurse at Duke when I had the brain tumor, she was tragically killed in an automobile accident in Washington State. She was on her way home from work. It was late one night and it was a snowstorm, and it didn't turn out well, obviously. I could go through the details, but that's not the important part of this conversation. You can put two and two together. I think what's important to understand is life, time. There's some valuable things. And there's many times we don't think about it that way. We take things for granted. Anything's possible. All right, back in my studio, we have a chance just to sit down with one another for a moment. And I'm glad if you're watching today or happen to be listening to the podcast, maybe you're reading the blog, and I'd like to share a few things with you about time and anything is possible. I've got 4 signs that I'd like to share with you that it's time to adjust your mindset. So ultimately, how you look at your life is what it'll take to make you happy or unhappy. When you're consumed with negative thoughts and beliefs, and you discover that you're unhappy with your life, eventually your perception of the world, it becomes your reality. I've seen it so many times from so many different people and examples. I'm sure things can come to your mind in your own life, maybe some people that you know, right? This is why changing your mindset is so important, because it will make a substantial difference in your life. And newsflash, a lot of other people's lives too. So I'd like to share with you these 4 signs how you can change your mindset. All right, number 1, you focus on everything that's wrong. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you that's what's happening. So a sure indication that you need to shift your mindset is when you continuously fix your attention on the disappointments and on the worry in your life. So to change this mindset, you need to take some time to think about the things that you're thankful for in your life. You can easily come up with the stuff that bugs you, right? Stop, change, think about some things that you're thankful for in life, right? This will help keep the negative thoughts from overwhelming your perspective. All right, number 1, focus on everything that's wrong. Quit doing that. Start focusing on some things that are right All right, so here's number 2. You refuse to face the truth. Oh, yeah, complaining about it all the time doesn't really change anything. No, always complaining about your life is really a refusal to acknowledge and accept the truth. If you keep complaining about things, you're not really accepting truth. There are things in your life that you just can't change. And refusing to see reality, its result is you no longer are able to separate fact from fiction. You actually start to believe a lie. Your own lie in most cases. You talked yourself into something that's not true. And then for you, it becomes truth. To change this, you have to take action. You have to change those things that you can change and accept the things that you can't. All right, what do I mean by that? All right, so I'll use my cancer as an example. I can't change the fact that I had cancer, that I've been fighting cancer, and all the side effects. Now, to take action, I can start eating different, change my life schedule around a bit for more rest and time to give my body moments to recoup. I could look for different types of medications, different things to help me. I, as a Christian, can stand on God's word and believe things from my life and my body that he's promised to me in the Bible. Those are things I could take action on. So I can't change some of the other stuff, but I can change the way I deal with it. And in most cases, when you take action in truth, it changes everything. Because anything is possible. All right, number 3. This is a little tough one. Tough for me to read. Because, y'all, a lot of this stuff I'm telling you is not just stuff that I made up. This stuff that's coming from life, right? A lot of it from my own. And I talk to a lot of different people, a lot of different places, but wow, this stuff is hitting home today. All right, number 3. You become angry when your expectations aren't met. Ooh, all right. So a large part of our mindset, your mindset, my mindset, consists of expectations. These are what you believe to be possible and necessary. If you're always angry with the people in your life because they aren't meeting your expectations, it means that you have unrealistic expectations to start with. I had a lot of time to wrestle with the fact that I'm a perfectionist. I guess I'm made that way. I'm not made to stay that way. I have learned a lot of things in my life, and a lot of my frustrations have come from that perfectionism. And it was not until I became a disciple and started learning about things from Jesus that I realized that he hasn't called us to perfection, but he's called us to excellence. And there's a big difference. Perfection says it has to be done a certain way. If it's not done a certain way, that's it. It's over. Excellence means you give it everything you've got and keep on going. All right, get ready to write this part down. This is really good. If you're listening, get some notes, pause, get ready for this one, write it down. It's our expectations that lay the groundwork for our experiences. But if you have unrealistic expectations for yourself and for those around you, you will never be satisfied with your life. Oh. You want me to say it again? Rewind. But if you have unrealistic expectations for yourself and for those around you, you will never be satisfied with your life. Oh. It's so hard sometimes, I know, to be able to not act out of anger and frustration. If anybody has kids, I don't even need to say anything more, right? It can be tough. It's real tough. I've been convicted and convinced lately a lot of some of the things in my own life, and God's been dealing with me lately. And I'm working on creating some new exercises for myself to be able to model the life that Christ wanted me to model as a husband, as a father, as a unifier of my home. And I'm working on that. Don't let what gets you angry and upset from your expectations ruin everything for you. Evaluate your expectations. You might find they're just a little bit out of reach.
Please hang up and try again.
All right, number 4. This is going to be a fun one. Are you ready? You sure? All right, here we go. You always see yourself as the victim. Yeah. When you always see yourself as a victim, you're hindering your ability to change things and create a better life for yourself. A victim mentality is typically a byproduct of low self-esteem. If you want to change your mindset, you have to reject the victim role and start building something better for your life. It's not easy. It's like I was talking about before. Once you do these things, once you believe the lie, it's really hard to get out of it. Once you've really learned how to live as a victim, gosh, it's hard to be an overcomer. Not impossible, because anything is possible. Changing your mindset, it isn't always easy. That's not a newsflash, right? But it's one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. To make a decision, to make a choice, to say, I'm going to do this. This is going to happen is a big deal. Learn how to recognize when you have a negative mindset and make the necessary changes to become more positive. Do a negative positive analysis of your life. What are some of the negative things you have going on? What are some of the negative things you feel, experience, see? What's the positive side? What can you do different to experience something positive and make some of those changes? I'm going to tell you that you can. Because I'm going to tell you, anything is possible. All right, folks, just a short one this week that I've been trying to wrap up some thoughts for the past couple of weeks and a month. I've had a lot going on in my life as well, and I'm getting back into the swing of things. It's been a very difficult time in my life, and I have a lot to do. And I'm not going to allow a lot of things that have been holding me back to hold me back. It's time to move forward. There's a time where you have to pick up and move on, and that's what I'm doing. I'm excited that God's opened up some doors in my life to bring some things to me that may help my health and my healing process be even better, where I can feel better in life and get my quality of life back. I'm praying and believing God for that. Going through some healing emotionally. I'm glad for some of those things to occur in my life. It's going to be fantastic. So there's a lot of great things that have happened to me, even though I've had some really horrible things happen to me. Anything's possible, right? So today, those 4 things that are going to be, you can get into the blog. If you go to the godsgotthis.love, you can visit our blog page, and I'll post these up for you to read and follow along with. And if you're at our podcast, which is at Podbean, so it's godsgotthis.podbean.com, I'd love for you to actually go there and click on the podcast there and subscribe to it. It would be fantastic. And please share with everybody that, as well as on iTunes. I'm there as well. So there's 2 things there with the podcast. I want you to share it. Podbean's the home. iTunes is the home. But if it goes to iTunes, gets lots of shares, it gets me bumped up in some rankings, and people get to know who I am a little bit better, and we can help share this information with the world. Would you help me to do that? I'd appreciate it. And it's even better when you make a review or click a star or do something, let me know you're there. I would love to have some comments. Come on back with some stuff. You may have something 1,000 times better than I would have to say. And if you don't say it, it doesn't help anybody. So I'd love for you to make some comments at our at the podcast site, our blog page, our YouTube channel where this is going to be at as well. I'm going to start combining my podcasts and our God's Got This meaningful moments put together into one. So it helps combine what I'm doing and save some time for me, right? It's going to be fantastic. All right, so these 4 things, and I got a little gift I want to give to you in a second. These 4 things that I have to share with you again from today on the list of how to adjust your mindset. You have to recognize some things and change some things. Number 1, you focus on everything that's wrong. 2, you refuse to face the truth. 3, you become angry when your expectations aren't met. And 4, you always see yourself as a victim. That's what happens when you're stuck into a place that your mindset stinks. And there's things you have to do to change to make it better. We talked about that today. Now, I also want to let you know that I have something I'd like to give to you if you're listening today. I'll put it in the comment section. If you're at the blog, there will be a link here for you to do that as well. And I talked about trying to give you some thought processes to look for some things that are positive, try to find some other things to think about. I'm going to get you started. I've got a list I'm going to give you of 30 life principles. It's a free PDF I'll give you that you can download. And it's just 30 phrases that could get the ball rolling for you. I think if you look at those things, they may give you some incentive to think of something better for yourself, something positive. And I'd love to hear what that might be. So visit our website at godsgotthis.love. If you haven't already been there to sign up for our mailing list, I'd love you to, because I send stuff out like this all the time, and I'd love to be able to bless you. And when there's great things happening in our community, you'll be able to find out through the mailing list, through the newsletter that we have out there. And we'll send you this absolutely free. 30 life principles, it'll be yours. Also, a little commercial for my new book. It is called, if you are on the video today, you'll see it. It is godsgotthis.love. Imagine that, God's got this, right? And so inside the book, you'll find a lot of different stories that are going to help you to understand what a God's got this moment is all about. I tried to give you that through this book, through the examples, so you can kind of catch how to do this for yourself. So at the end of the book, Chapter 1 is actually the last chapter. The last chapter, you're going to find 3 tools that will explain to you everything about a God's got this moment. Three tools that you'll have are reflect, receive, and respond. You'll get it when you read the book. And at the end of each chapter in the book, you'll find a 2-page journal. And at the end you'll find it's the color stuff after all the black and white you're reading. You'll come to 2 pages of color. And in those 2 pages, there are questions set up for you to help you to create a space where you could think of a moment for yourself that something happened. You'll understand when you read the book, and you'll be able to process this through the God's Got This Moment tools. There's a few other ways that we can help you after you get the book. One, we have a free app that's available to you. You can go to the App Store in Google Play, and you'll be able to download this. I'll give the information on that here as well. And you can get to the hashtag God's Got This app, and there's all kinds of resources in there that we want to give to you for free that you'll be able to use in our community, and I'd love for you to have that. Also, you'll be able to have the opportunity to get one more tool that goes along with the book, and I want to give that to you for free today as well. It's the God's Got This Moment identifier. It is a little way to dig a little deeper into some of those moments in your lives, to give you some key phrases, some words, some sentences that will help you to think of things that may spark a moment in your life that you had that you can start processing. So I want to give that to you as well. It's not in the book, and I wanted to make that for you available today for free. So a bunch of things that we're giving you today to help you be able to work with your time, to be able to go through things you've experienced in your life, so that when those 3 words, anything is possible, happen, whether it's a good anything is possible, an okay anything is possible, or a really scary anything is possible, you're going to know that with God, anything is possible. I really do hope and pray today that it's been a blessing to you as you've joined us here in Hope Revealed and hashtag God's Got This. And I want to share with you a scripture that is really important in my life that I hope will be as important to you. And it's found in Philippians verses 6-9 in chapter 4 of Philippians, something that Paul wrote, and I'd like to read it to you. It says, "Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all that He's done. Then you'll experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus." And now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what's true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Keep putting into practice all you've learned and received from me, everything you've heard from me and saw me doing. Then the God of peace will be with you. And he surely will, my friends. Now, I hope and pray you have an incredible, incredible week, that you can embrace the fact that anything is possible. And I hope you remember this. Don't ever forget, no matter what circumstance or situation you might find yourself in, God's got this.